TFL EV is brought to you by Flow Charger, maker of reliable, high-quality charging stations for your electric vehicle. Hey guys, check it out. Here's another first drive video from Sonoma, California, and this is the new Nissan Ariya. Now you may be wondering, what's so special about this Ariya? If you're a Nissan fan, you'll probably know that the Ariya has been in the showrooms for, quite a while now, but this is a special Ariya because it's the Platinum E-Force. In other words, the all-wheel drive. And in this video, we're going to do a walk around. I'm going to show you all the nooks and crannies. We are going to go take it for a ride, and we're going to see just what the top-of-the-line Nissan Ariya is like. So let's get right to it. First and foremost, if you're looking at the two-wheel drive model, those start at about $43,000. This one is more expensive, and I'll let you know exactly how much more at the end of this video. But we'll start where we always start, and that is with styling. And one of the things you immediately notice is this really nice red color. It's a little bit like Mazda's. I think it's called Crystal Red or something like that. It's a really beautiful color. The other thing you notice is that we're rolling on 20s, which is pretty unusual for an electric car because, of course, the bigger the tire and the bigger the wheel, the less range it has. Now, talking about range, the normal two-wheel drive model gets just over 300 miles of range. This one, because it is the Platinum E-Force, in other words, all-wheel drive, gets, get this, 270 plus miles of range, according to the EPA. So you are losing some range, but you are gaining all-wheel drive, which is a big deal if you live in a place like Colorado. Now, one of my favorite features, of course, I was going to show you the charging port, but is that the dual little shark fins on top. I think that's a really good look, especially with this spoiler. The other thing that I've now found out about this car after spending the morning driving it is it's kind of the Goldilocks car. It's kind of just right. You know, it's not too big, it's not too small, kind of fits in that perfect mid-size crossover space. Of course, it competes with cars like the Volkswagen ID4, the Mustang Mach-E, the Tesla Model Y, the Ioniq 5, just to name a few. So a very crowded segment, but the Ariya does provide a fresh take on an electric car. Now, of course, here's a charge port. We have DC fast charging and regular charging. In terms of battery size, the extended battery gets you 87 kilowatt hours usable. The smaller battery is, I believe, 63 kilowatt hours, which is good for, like I said, for the bigger battery, about 270 miles of range. Now, how has Nissan set themselves apart from all of the competitors in this segment? Well, certainly in a bunch of unusual ways, but let's start with this one. Let me open up the frunk and show you that there is, and you probably know this by now, no frunk. There you go, no frunk. In fact, what Nissan has said is that they've moved the drive components as far forward and as far backwards to give you as much room as possible in the interior, and that they've really spent a lot of time giving you a luxurious, dare I say it, serene place to spend time. And I have to say, I agree with them. It's not unusual for Nissans, of course, to be luxurious, but this one is very luxurious. Dare I say infinity-like. I mean, look at these French stitched blue seats. Very beautiful. Kind of like, almost like a lounge chair in some ways. Same thing for all this detail. Now, this detail is borrowed from Japanese lanterns. And if you look way down there, that is actually a light that illuminates in a very subtle way the inside of the cabin. Now, Nissan will tell you that another part of the design language is the fact that these seats are like seats with a coffee table in between. And what I mean by that is, check this out. Let me start it up. You have this movable coffee table, according to Nissan at least, that you can slide in and out of way, which is pretty cool. And then, if you really want to get fancy, let me move it up again. You also have this hidden glove box, which you open and close by this button. Come on, open, wrong side, there we go, open. Of course, there are all your wires for your phone hidden out of the way. Hit the button again, check that out. How cool is that? Yeah, those are two pretty cool party tricks that make this car feel a lot more luxurious and a lot more special than many other cars in this segment. The other thing that I like about, of course, is this giant sunroof. I'm a big fan of letting the light in. And back here, you can have your regular mirror, or if you want, you can have your video mirror. And these things are really good if you're in a place like I am, Colorado, where the back windshield gets all dirty, or you've got two very tall friends back there. You can always see out the back. How cool is that? I also like the steering wheel. It's thick, it's got a nice grip, and there's like this double spoke pattern. Now we've got two, count them, 1, 2, 12-inch screens. One is actually concave and one is convex. And Nissan says they've done that to help you be able to look down and see all the information that you need. The other cool feature, and I think it's a pretty funky feature of this car, are these kind of haptic controls that when you turn the power off, as you can see, kind of disappear into the wood. It's a very elegant and very unique feature that I haven't seen in many other cars yet. And that's always interesting to be able to find something that's new and unusual. Now before we get going, let me kind of show you the amount of room back here. I am pretty tall, 6'2", and as you can tell, I hope you can tell, I've got plenty of headroom, got plenty of shoulder room. Like I said, it's about right. It's not, giant, but it's not tight as well for big guys like me. So let's check out the back seat and see how that does. I also like this kind of suede blue material here. Very nice touch, Nissan, especially with this blue leather. And Nissan will tell you that this is the only car where you can get Nappa leather in this segment. And it does feel nice. Of course, if you're not into leather, that's probably not going to do much for you. Now, sitting in the back seat, let's take a look. Plenty of knee room. Not so much headroom back here. It is scalloped a little bit, but my hair is hitting. There are worse things. And you've got USB and USB-C, and of course, heated seats in the back of this Platinum edition. So, good amount of room. Certainly, feels comfortable back here for me. I think I wouldn't want to go cross country, but going out to lunch or taking a ride with a buddy in the back seat wouldn't be such a bad thing at all. Now let's see what we have back here. I'm sure this is electric. Well, let's pop it open. Good. Looks like a 2080 folding seat. Back here we have looks like a subwoofer. I believe that's your charging cable. And if we look under here, see what's under there, run flat, and a little bit more storage space. So, like I said, good amount of room, probably about enough to do what you need to do in this segment. And, a cover to hide your stuff in case, you're living in a place where theft is rampant, like just north of San Francisco where I'm at. I've been watching too many YouTube videos of people getting glitter bombs stolen out of their back of their cars. So I think it's a handsome car. I especially like this metallic red color. And actually, if you're a fan of Nissan, you'll note that Nissan has had the same key design for a long time, but yet look at that. They changed it up. How about that? We actually have a different key now for this vehicle. I also like the folding mirrors. I think that's a nice touch if you live in an urban environment. Those are always nice. The little LEDs, all sorts of sensors up front here, because this car does have ProPilot 2.0, and we'll talk about that in a second when we get behind the wheel. All right, speaking of getting behind the wheel, let's pop it open, start it up, and let's pull those mirrors back. Probably want to see where I'm going. There we go. Let me put my seatbelt on, and let's head on down the road and see how this vehicle does when I'm behind the steering wheel. Now, one of the things you immediately notice when you get behind the wheel is how much power we have. 57%, 147 miles of range. I've always found that, unfortunately, most of these car companies, and that includes, I think, Nissan, tend to understate or or should I say overstate the amount of miles that you get on a full charge, because it will vary based on the weather. So right now it's a little bit chilly out there, it's rainy, and that all doesn't help in terms of range. Now here we have different drive modes, so let's pop through the drive modes. We have Eco, Standard, and Sport. And Sport, Nissan says this car will accelerate with the all-wheel drive from 0 to 60, and get this, 4.8 seconds, which is very quick and very competitive to most cars in this segment. Now, one of the downsides, unfortunately, is that you can't get the $7,500 federal tax credit because this car is built in Japan using, I believe, these are Chinese batteries that are powering it, so you're not going to be eligible for that tax credit, and that's probably going to hurt because other cars like the Mach-E, of course, the Model Y do qualify for that tax credit. Let's see what's hiding under here. We have Qi wireless charging and a little bit of a cubby, which is nice, and of course my movable coffee table from Nissan. Now this right there is ProPilot 2.0, and what ProPilot 2.0 does, it allows you to go hands-free, eyes on the road under certain conditions. In other words, when the weather isn't rainy, when the highway is mapped. I believe they say they have about 200,000 miles of mapped highway, so you are geo-fenced into a certain structure. But it isn't quite level 3, but it is hands-off, eyes on, and Nissan has taken an interesting approach, and that is basically color coordinated. So when you turn this on and when you set your cruise control, it will either be white, green, or blue, telling you whether it's ready or not to actually engage the highest level of autonomy. All right, so let's put it in drive. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Actually, before we do that, let's check out the cameras. I always like seeing what kind of cameras we have. So Nissan was one of the first companies to pioneer this 360-degree camera, and we still have that, which is pretty cool. Here we have Apple CarPlay, Alexa enabled as well, so if you love that, it's also wireless, which is great. And the one thing I have found that's not so great is the HVAC, even though they are haptic over here. If you want to change, for instance, if you want to turn on your heated seats, not so easy to do. There's your heated steering wheel button, automatic. There are 3 different settings for that. But you have to go into this menu to actually be able to turn on your heated seats. I like to have hard buttons for that. And they are heated and, in this model, cooled as well. And then let's try something which I always try. Nissan says it's got its latest version of voice, so let's give it a try.
Please say or select a command.
Tell me a joke.
Point of interest. Please say the place name. Include a city and or state if needed, or say change area.
Cancel. Cancel.
Cancel. Please say or select an item number from the displayed list.
Cancel. Never mind. Stop. Cancel.
Please say or select an item number from the displayed list. Additional commands are help, list commands, what can I say, general help, go back, quit, and exit.
Exit. I guess I was using the wrong word. Exit.
Please say or select an item number from the displayed list. Additional commands are
Exit.
help, list commands, what can I say, general help, go back, quit, and exit.
Exit.
Canceling voice recognition.
Yeah, okay, well, there you have it. That was a display of, unfortunately, voice recognition that sometimes does not work unless you're using, like Siri or Alexa, which you can do. So let's call that done. Let's hit the road. Now, my display here is very clear. I like it. It's very easy to read. I have it in sport mode, and you'll note this button right there. That is the E-step. So if I hit my E-step, that basically gives me one pedal driving. In other words, a lot of regen when I am going down the hill here. The one thing it does not do, unfortunately, which is a little bit of a disappointment. It does not. Oh, my heated steering wheel is on. How nice is that? It does not come to a complete stop when I stop. It still has that rolling feature, so I have to keep my foot on the brake if I want to stop. I'll show you what I mean. So here I am. I come to a complete stop, and we are, as you can tell, still rolling. But I think as cars, especially electric cars, become more, let's say, accepted or understood, engineers will feel more comfortable in getting rid of that feature, so that we don't necessarily have to worry about having to keep my foot on the brake when I come to a stop sign. That's such a nice little feature. Now, as you guys know, Nissan, of course, was the first company to mass market an electric car. I believe that was 2010 now with the Leaf, and the Ariya is a moonshot compared to the Leaf. Not that there's anything wrong with the Leaf; it's slowly been updated, but this is a much different beast. And I think what makes it so unique is it just feels very special and luxurious in here. Very quiet. Dare I say, very luxurious. And oh, there's a sound, and if you can hear it, it's the magic sound of electric propulsion that Nissan has designated as the sporty sound of going quickly. So let's make a right turn here and see how this guy drives. I'm all clear. We're going to give it the beans as soon as I get on this road. Only 40 miles an hour. We're going to get up there pretty quick. 4.8 seconds. There's 40 to 60. Now, there are some disappointing things besides the fact that it doesn't have, keeping your foot off the brake when you stop. One of the disappointing features is it charges, I'm using air quotes here, air quotes, at 130 kilowatts, which today feels like it's a little bit on the slow side. We've just bought a Bolt that charges at 50 kilowatts, which is really on the slow side, but competitors like the Ioniq 5 charge up to 250 kilowatts with an 800 volt architecture. So 130 is good for, let's say, 20 to 80% according to Nissan in about 35 minutes, but as they say, results may vary depending on, of course, state of charge, the state of the charger, the temperature of the battery, and it, by the way, it does have preconditioning, so you can we go home here, you can precondition the battery so you will get quicker charging. But overall, the driving experience is electric car quiet, which is a good thing because electric cars tend to be very unique in that regard, in that there is no drivetrain noise per se. And of course, all of you big fans of Hemis and small block Chevys are going to hate that, but there is a certain quietness and majesty to driving something that is, dare I say it, silent but quick. I know, I thought you thought I was going to say something else. So let's go on the highway and try ProPilot 2.0. I'm not sure it's going to work because you have to have ideal conditions, but we'll give it a shot. So there we go, pulling on the highway. I guess that sound will get annoying, and the good thing is you can turn it off by just going to normal drive mode. And then the way that you turn on ProPilot is you push this button right here, you set the cruise control. Come on, set the cruise control, turn on. There we go, on, set, and you'll see your steering wheel right there, which tells you that you're in green mode, which means you have to keep your hands on. But if it goes to blue mode, that means I'm able to then go eyes on road, hands off steering wheel, and there it goes. So now I am in hands off. And, I'm a little too fast for the road here. Let me lower my speed limit. There we go. Now we're at the speed limit, and now my hands are forward. Oops, sorry. I think what's happening is my camera is blocking the phone there, blocking the sensor for my eyes. But as you can tell, it was driving itself. Well, at least with me behind the wheel, paying close attention. So that's just a quick demonstration of ProPilot, how it works. And it works, pretty well. but as well as any of the current systems. I'm talking about Ford's Blue Cruise or Chevy's Super Cruise. But keep in mind that Mercedes is about to introduce their latest version, which is actually the first level 3 in America, which only works up to about 40 miles an hour, but is actually eyes and hands off the steering wheel, which is, pretty dramatic. As long as it's not raining, as long as you're not doing over 40 miles an hour, as long as it's not dark. So there's a lot of as long. But for level 2, it works. And I'm not a big fan of level 2, and I'll tell you why. Because the thing about level 2 is that humans are really good at steering. I mean, we're really good at driving, and we're really good at not driving, but we're not really good at the space in between there, which is just paying attention while somebody else drives. Our minds tend to wander and things tend to go south. But you know what? Overall, I think that Nissan has done a really good job. Now, if you're wondering how does it handle, Nissan will be quick to point out that they have specially tailored their all-wheel drive system, of course they call it E-Force, to make it very good in inclement weather. So in the snow, in rain, in all kinds of bad conditions, this car, according to Nissan, is much more sure-footed. And I have to agree. I mean, it doesn't feel heavy. It doesn't feel particularly sporty. I'm not pushing it very hard. I don't think people are going to be pushing this car. This is a car you're going to be taking to work or school or church, not a car you're going to be using to carve canyons. But if you did want to carve canyons, it does feel exceptionally sure-footed. I just got to spend some time at Sonoma Raceway where we did take it on kind of a handling course, and I was pleasantly surprised by how well the car did, given that it's not a sports car. Now, before we finish up this review, I said that I would tell you how much this costs. Have you had any guesses as to how much this costs? Let me find a place where I could safely pull over, and I will show you the Monroney to this car, at least the one that they gave me, and we can see if you think it's worth the amount of money that Nissan is asking for it. But we got to find a safe place to pull over first. Now, the other thing I find interesting is that, as you know, the Leaf has its charging port in the nose, and for some reason with this car they've decided to go kind of in the front side of the car. And I'm kind of begging the automakers now to standardize that. Please, guys, pick a place that works for all of us, and pick one place, because some manufacturers are putting it in the nose, some are putting it in the side of the car, some others are putting it in the back side of the car, and I think that's, of course, causing all kinds of havoc with chargers. Now, if you look in front of me, you will see a heads-up display, so that's very good. It actually even works with my polarized sunglasses, and to kind of alleviate some of the stress of range anxiety, Nissan, when you buy the Ariya, we'll give you 1 year of free charging. The EV guys hate that, and you're wondering why the EV guys and gals hate that, because like ID4s that also get free charging tend to clog up the superchargers, unfortunately, which is not a great thing. I think I went this way last time. Did I go this way? Or maybe not. Now I'm getting lost. But looks like there's a place I can actually pull over here and show you the Monroney and see just how much this guy costs. Actually, I'm going to go over here. Got to be some quiet place I can pull over here where I'm not going to get myself in trouble. Right here should work. All right, so let's look at the Monroney here. Put it in park. You just hit that button, and here we have our Monroney. So, like I said, the two-wheel drive starts at about $43,000, and this one, with pre-production, with all the bells and whistles, $62,770, with just a boatload of every potential safety and ProPilot assist with NaviLink, dual zone automatic climate control, rear view mirror monitor, firmware over-the-air updates, photo, intelligent auto headlights. I mean, there's just a lot of stuff here that you get with this car that makes it quite the luxurious Nissan. Like I said, these will be hitting the dealerships very shortly. Nissan says any day now, and just before I wrap this up. Look at the color. Isn't that spectacular? So yeah, I'm impressed. I think Nissan has done a really good job in building a car that fits many people's lifestyle, that's electric, and that takes it to the next step beyond the Leaf. As always, this is Roman reporting for TFL EV. Be sure to check out alltfl.com so that you can check out not just this car, because a lot of you are saying, hey, where are the other cars? We've got alltfl.com because we have 8 YouTube channels, and that's a great way to get all of your reviews in one. Anyway, thanks for joining me, and yeah, I like it. See you guys next time. Ciao.